One sci-fi universe almost every geek is familiar with is Star Wars. Another sci-fi universe that is equally, if not more fleshed out in depth and complexity is EVE Online, although not as well known. It's a massive multiplayer game centered around spaceships of every size, shape, utility, and function in a free-form sandbox setting. I did not intend to create a part 2, but after increased demand I've decided to make this a trilogy, where the Empire is pitted against EVE Online. Be sure to check out the prequel to this video, where a Star Destroyer was flung out of the Star Wars galaxy after making a bad hyperspace jump to escape destruction at the hands of the rebels at the Battle of Endor. The Avenger ends up in the New Eden star cluster, the setting of EVE Online, thousands of years removed from the Star Wars galaxy. After a fierce battle with a pirate battleship, the Avenger manages to hyperjump to a system free of stargates, where they seem to be temporarily safe. The Avenger has lost most of its TIE fighter force and is heavily damaged. Captain Harkov once served with Grand Admiral Thrawn and Darth Vader, and although not as brilliant as the legendary Chiss strategist, or with any control of the Force like Vader, their influence drove this Imperial commander to be more relentless and strategy-minded than most. While repairs to battle damage are in progress, Captain Harkov is approached by a strange red droid. It says it has a message for him, and it takes a blood sample to verify Harkov's identity. Upon the glossy black void of the droid's head, the face of the Emperor himself appears. Harkov is shocked when the Emperor addresses him by name. "Captain Harkov, your service to the Empire to this point has been commendable. If you are receiving this message, the Empire is in peril, and we must proceed with contingency plans. Your circumstances were by my design. Your ship, and several others, have been secretly encoded to jump to locations ripe for Imperial expansion. You have a special task. Find your comrades. They may be scattered and lost in the star cluster. Rally with your fleet. Begin the conquest of the star cluster. You will help establish a new Imperial order, far removed from the interference of any rebels. Now go forth and serve your Empire with all due diligence." Harkov is skeptical at this grand plan, realizing that there is no way the Emperor could have known about the advanced starfaring civilization that inhabited the New Eden cluster, or the nature of the incredibly effective technology. But Harkov is a loyalist, and he will dutifully carry out the Emperor's wishes. Harkov sets out to either find friendly territory or the lost Imperial fleet. Long-range sensors show stirrings in this isolated system. Scout ships are deployed to recon the system. One scout squadron is mysteriously lost, and another reports what appears to be strange probes jumping from place to place in the star system. Harkov is not Force-sensitive that he knows of, but he does have a keen and proven sense of danger. He gets to the bridge and sounds battle stations. Moments later, two ships, just under the size of Corellian corvettes, appear out of nowhere, having used some form of cloaking technology. Before Harkov has a chance to consult the New Eden database, two incoming objects are hurled at the Star Destroyer. Harkov quickly orders the Avenger's tractor beams to seize the ships. With a flash, the Avenger is rocked, while everyone on the bridge is suddenly knocked off their feet. When the bridge crew recovers, they discover that the Star Destroyer's power systems have been reduced significantly. Tractor beams are inoperative, and now the stealth ships are firing what seem to be missiles with similar power to proton torpedoes. Sensors indicate that the stealth ships have no turrets. The Avenger launches TIE fighters, and since the stealth ships have no counter to fighter-sized craft, the TIEs make short work of one, while the other escapes into warp. The New Eden database indicates that the ships were Nemesis-class stealth bombers, and that the Avenger was hit with what is known as void bombs. While not as destructive as other bombs, they drain the power systems of the target. Harkov has had enough. There must be a safe place somewhere. As if in answer to his question, another small ship, different from stealth bombers, seems to decloak far out of range of any of the Avenger's weapons, obviously trying not to appear threatening. The Avenger is hailed. "Hello, stranger. I'm a Capsuleer from the Eve Scout Enclave. I don't know who you are, but you are in trouble. There's a small fleet of heavy assault cruisers nearby, and they're probably looking for you, but there is a wormhole that will lead safely out of the system if you'll follow me. The Avenger's navigators are still calculating a jump to another system, but due to their unfamiliarity with the New Eden star cluster, an additional 20 minutes are needed before a safe jump can be calculated. The scout ship warps away and tells Harkov that she will be at the coordinates of the wormhole when they are ready. But now 5 minutes are needed to calculate the intrasystem jump to the wormhole's location. 5 new ships suddenly appear just at the edge of the Avenger's effective weapons range. Harkov recognizes 3 of them, designs from the Amar Empire. The New Eden database shows them as Sacrilege-class heavy assault cruisers, each just shy of the length of a Nebulon B frigate, but much more bulky. The 2 other cruisers are odd. They seem to have no weapons, and they are identified as Guardian-class support ships. Although the Star Destroyer dwarfs these ships in size, Harkov takes no chances, and has engine power diverted to shields. The Sacrilege assault cruisers begin raining down volleys of destructive missiles upon the Avenger. The combined assault is even more potent than what they experienced when fighting the pirate battleship days before. However, in spite of the smaller size, the cruisers are not moving fast, and the Avenger's turbolaser blasts are able to accurately connect. Harkov holds his TIE fighters in the launch base, seeing clearly that the cruisers do have fighter drones that would likely rip the Avenger's remaining TIE fighters to pieces. The turbolasers quickly take down the shields of the nearest Sacrilege cruiser and begin chipping away at the armor. But then, miraculously, the armor reassembles itself into cohesion, as if regrowing. The Avenger concentrates power on a different Sacrilege, and the same thing happens. No matter how many hits one of the cruisers take, its armor regenerates before the turbolasers can penetrate. "Impossible!" Harkov exclaims. He knows he must destroy at least one of the cruisers if the Avenger is going to survive long enough to make the jump to hyperspace, which is taking an eternity to calculate. Harkov calms himself and examines the enemy formation. He wonders why the weaponless Guardian-class cruisers are so far behind the assault cruisers, and what the strange beams are flashing between the ships in the fleet. Harkov senses a vulnerability. Luckily, the Star Destroyer's tractor beam range is vast. With the short engine burst and the sudden activation of the tractor beams, the Avenger is able to seize one of the support ships. It draws it in close, and then reroutes engine power to weapons. Although the seized cruiser seems to still be protected by what appears to be some form of remote repair technology from the other support cruiser, the Avenger takes the support ship apart with its turbo lasers. The enemy formation seems to fall into disarray after the destruction of one of the Guardian-class cruisers. It seems the 2 Guardians relied on each other to maintain what had to be an enormous power requirement for such an extravagant repair system. The Avenger is able to destroy one of the assault cruisers. The assault cruisers fall back a bit, but just as the Avenger's shields fail, the Star Destroyer activates its hyperdrive and is able to jump to where the Eve Scout frigate is waiting for them. The Scout tells them that there is little time and to go through the wormhole. The Avenger enters the strange spatial anomaly and emerges into an area of space backlit with bright nebula. The New Eden computer network fills the Avenger's sensors with information. They have reached what is called high security space. Ships from the Concord police force are nearby, and they assure the Avenger that any unprovoked attacks will be met with deadly force. No fighting is allowed here unless under the mark of a legal declaration of war, or against ships flagged with criminal status. An Amar Empire station is nearby. The Avenger is granted permission to dock. Finally, the Avenger is safe. Word has apparently spread about the Avenger and other strange ships appearing in New Eden. New Eden is accustomed to mysterious ships and newcomers, but this time the authorities from the Amar Empire have taken an interest. An ambassador from the Amar government arrives. He offers the crew of the Avenger total protection in the sanctuary. He also warns that New Eden is a dangerous place no matter where they go, and any Imperial incursion, even into space unoccupied by the major New Eden empires, is likely to ultimately fail. The crew of the Avenger will be offered highly valued positions within the Amarian Armada, government, or even stipends for retirement should they want it, but they must give up their Star Destroyer in exchange. If they refuse, they would be allowed to go free with their ship, even rejoin their fleet, but with no protection from the Amar Empire. The Amar ambassador warns with earnest sincerity that sooner or later they would be hunted down by various types of opportunists from all over New Eden and die horribly. Harkov says he will consider the offer, but through the New Eden Communications Network, he is contacted by someone else, Admiral Natasi Dala from the Galactic Empire. Admiral Dala tells Harkov that her fleet was safe from the rebel attack at a secret weapons facility known as the Maw Installation, but that the Emperor and Vader had died. The Emperor's Sentinel droids had given her similar orders. She has a fleet of 2 super star destroyers, one of which is the experimental Eclipse-class Star Dreadnought, and several more star destroyers supported by other ships. They were going to carve out a little empire for themselves in Capsuleer-occupied space, known in New Eden as Null Security Space. She wires several hundred million ISK, or interstellar credits, the currency used by the New Eden economy, to help with repairs and supply, and orders the Avenger to rendezvous with her fleet in Nullsec space immediately. Stay tuned for Part 3. Do you think the Empire will be successful in taking sovereign Nullsec space from the Capsuleers, or will they fail? Say so in the comments. Also, if you need to get more EVE Online game time or Plex, check out the link to the Resurrected Starships blog in the description, where you'll find several options. This will help support the channel and ultimately allow for more time to be put into the videos. Either way, I'm extremely grateful for your views, likes, subscriptions, or comments. Keep evolving, space friends, fly daring, and may the solar winds be at your back.